Have you ever considered how close humanity came to disappearing completely? It's a chilling thought. We often see ourselves as the dominant species on this planet, with cities sprawling across continents and a population in the billions. But if we rewind the clock deep into our prehistoric past, we find a moment so perilous, so fragile, that our entire existence hung by a thread. This isn't a sci-fi movie plot. It's a real chapter in the human story, a time when our ancestors were reduced to a group so small they could have fit into a modern-day concert hall. Today, we're going to explore this great bottleneck, a near-extinction event that occurred around 900,000 years ago, and uncover how this brush with oblivion fundamentally shaped who we are today. So, let's set the scene. We're not talking about Homo sapiens yet. We're in the era of our earlier ancestors, likely Homo heidelbergensis or a related species. These weren't primitive creatures. They were intelligent hominins who used tools, hunted, and lived in social groups. They were spread across Africa and parts of Eurasia. Yet, something catastrophic happened. Genetic analysis, using a new method that can trace population sizes back through time, has revealed a shocking truth. For a period of over 100,000 years, the breeding population of our direct ancestors plummeted to just 1,280 individuals. Let that sink in. 1,280. That's it. This tiny group was all that stood between the continuation of our lineage and complete extinction. This period is what scientists call a severe population bottleneck. For over 100 millennia, this small, isolated community struggled for survival, carrying the future of humanity on their shoulders. Imagine the pressure, the constant danger. Every single life was precious beyond measure. It's a stark reminder that our journey has been anything but a straight line of progress. What could cause such a devastating collapse? The culprit, it seems, was the planet itself. This event coincides with a period of intense climate chaos known as the mid-Pleistocene transition. The Earth's climate cycles, which had been relatively stable, went haywire. Ice ages became longer and more severe, while the periods in between grew drier and more unpredictable. The world our ancestors knew was torn apart. In Africa, where many of these hominins lived, prolonged and severe droughts turned lush savannas into barren wastelands. Food sources like plants and game animals would have become incredibly scarce. At the same time, other parts of the world experienced extreme cold, with glaciers advancing and making vast territories uninhabitable. Our ancestors were caught in a perfect storm of environmental pressures. They were facing starvation, the loss of habitable land, and intense competition for what little resources remained. It's a grim picture, but it explains how a once widespread population could be whittled down to such a tiny, struggling remnant. This wasn't a single event like an asteroid impact, but a long, grinding war of attrition against a hostile environment that lasted for generations. A bottleneck of this magnitude doesn't just reduce population numbers. It has a profound and lasting impact on a species' genetic makeup. When a population is so small, you lose a massive amount of genetic diversity. Think of it like a library where 99% of the books are suddenly destroyed. The information contained in those lost books is gone forever. Similarly, countless genetic variations present in the larger ancestral population were wiped out. This loss of diversity can be dangerous for a species, making it more vulnerable to diseases. However, it also has some fascinating consequences. For one, it means that all modern humans are remarkably similar genetically. We are all descendants of that small group of survivors. But there's another intriguing possibility. Some scientists speculate that this bottleneck might have accelerated certain evolutionary changes. In a small, isolated population, new genetic traits can spread much more quickly. It's possible that this period of intense pressure led to the fixation of certain genes that gave the survivors an edge. Some theories even suggest that this bottleneck could be linked to the fusion of two ancestral chromosomes to form what is now human chromosome 2. This is a unique feature of our genome not seen in other great apes, and it's a key part of what makes us human. So, paradoxically, the event that almost wiped us out may have also been a crucible that forged key aspects of our modern human identity. After 117,000 years of clinging to existence, something changed. The climate began to stabilize, the environment became more forgiving, and our ancestors started to bounce back. The population began to grow again. This rebound was just as crucial as the bottleneck itself. The survivors, hardened by generations of struggle, were likely very resilient and adaptable. As their numbers expanded, they began to spread out once more, repopulating old territories and exploring new ones. This period of recovery and expansion is incredibly significant because it is around this time that we believe the last common ancestor of modern humans, Neanderthals and Denisovans, lived. It is highly probable that this common ancestor was a direct descendant of the small group that survived the bottleneck. Think about that. The three most well-known lineages of intelligent, tool-using hominins all likely emerged from this single point of near extinction. The rebound wasn't just about numbers. It was a creative explosion of evolution. The survivors, carrying their unique genetic legacy from the bottleneck, diversified. Some groups would eventually evolve into the Neanderthals in Europe and Asia, others into the enigmatic Denisovans in Asia, and another group, remaining in Africa, would eventually give rise to us Homo sapiens. The entire story of recent human evolution was set in motion by the recovery from this ancient crisis. So, what can we take away from this incredible story? First, a deep sense of humility. Our presence on this planet is not a given. It is the result of an unbelievably long and precarious journey filled with moments where our story could have ended. We are the descendants of survivors, the inheritors of a legacy of resilience, adaptability, and perhaps a little bit of luck. Learning about this bottleneck forces us to see ourselves not as masters of the world, but as part of a delicate natural system subject to its powerful forces. Second, it gives us a new perspective on our own species. The genetic closeness of all humans is a direct result of this shared ancestry, a powerful reminder that our differences are superficial compared to our deep, common heritage. We are one family, united by a history of shared struggle. This ancient crisis fundamentally shaped the human story, influencing our genes, our evolution, and our ultimate path to becoming the species we are today. It's a powerful narrative of near disaster and incredible recovery, a testament to the fragility of life and the enduring strength of the will to survive. The echoes of those 1,280 individuals can still be found in the DNA of every single person alive today. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into our ancient past. It's truly mind-blowing to think about. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the mysteries of science and history. Let me know in the comments what you think about this great bottleneck. Does it change how you see humanity's place in the world? Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.